very happy Easter Monday to you, wherever you're listening from. This is Inside Scoop on Adamimogo 105.1 FM. Beg your pardon. I'm sure I'm not still in the mood of the celebrations because, hey, newsmen, they have to work. They have to work 247 round the clock, round the year. It looks like only media practitioners, broadcast journalists don't like holidays because we are always at work. Anyways, Nigerians have taken time to observe and reflect on the lessons of Easter, although it could have been really challenging to celebrate it considering the national economic downturn that a lot of Nigerians are facing at the moment. Nonetheless, it's an opportunity to check in on what really matters, what characterizes the day, the moral and the spiritual elements, and how it can be imbibed, how we can imbibe those lessons of Easter to transform our daily lives. Are there lessons? That's the questions that we must ask ourselves this morning. Are there lessons for Nigeria this Easter, for the leadership and for those that are led? Or is the season a cliche celebration, something we go through the rounds with year in and out without really taking anything significant for our lives? Is it a cliche celebration with little or no effect on our socio-economic and political realities? That's one question we should also ask ourselves on a Monday like this, Easter Monday, which happens to be April Fool's Day. People going, is there anything to fool around with? I remember the days like this will come with a lot of humor, with a lot of frightening stuff, more like pranks. But hey, do we have any at this moment to prank ourselves with? If our spirituality as countrymen, as Nigerians, hold any ground, if at all, should we use that to coordinate the business of reality? Should we use our spirituality, the essence of Easter? Christian faithfuls, they say this signifies the resurrection of Christ, conquering everything to bring salvation to the world. If indeed we imbibe those lessons, does it correspond? Does it have any correlation with our realities as humans? Should we use it to sanctify, the socioeconomic space so that the essence of this celebration will not be defeated? This is Inside Scoop on Adamimogo 105.1 FM IBADAN. My name is Fortune Omosola, your host as always on the show on the Mondays like this from 11 to 12 noon. Yes, my guest this morning is joining me virtually, is one of the... Hello? Hello, sir. Hello, barrister. I can barely hear him, but I guess I'll still get across to him again. Barrister Sholai Bishini is one of the governorship aspirants of the People's Democratic Party right there in Ondo State, joining me to give me some of my translations to the topic this morning. Of course, looking at the essence of Easter. I have him joining me over the phone. I'm trying to reach out to him on the program again this morning. The network is not doing me a favor, but I will try. Hello, good morning, Barrister Ibisheni. Yes, good morning. I'm trying to make it as loud as I can. Beg your pardon. Just hold on a bit, Barrister Ibisheni. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me, Barrister Ibisheni? You can hear me clearly. Okay, I guess I just have to manage. Maybe in the course of the break, I have to do it again. Anyways, good to have you this morning, Barrister Abisheni. Hello, good morning, Barrister Abisheni. Yes, good morning. Can you hear me clearly now?
Very well, I think.
Yes, so sorry about that network glitch, and of course, some technicalities we have to fondle with in the studio here, but it's all good. Let's just get right to it. I'm talking about the lessons of Easter. From Friday down to Monday, Nigerians have, in one way or the other, tried to engage, at their end, locally, at their family level, at their churches, and wherever they can find themselves, to look at the essence of this celebration. And of course, I'm trying to take that down into what we are experiencing as a country. Thankfully, you are one of those aspiring for the top position in Ondo State. You are one of the aspirants for the PDP, looking at getting that position there in Ondo State later this year. We've had tons of messages from different quarters, to reflect on the Easter season. Which of this message, those that have been, flooding our social media space, our newspapers, on terrestrial television, which of those messages, governors, senators, ministers, or or what have you, stands out for you this Easter?
Well, it might not be instant message per se, but I am particularly fascinated with the message of Mr. President 2 days ago, where he enjoined Nigerians, particularly our clergy, not to speak ill of Nigeria because of the need to separate the Nigerian state as a land flowing with milk and honey from our opinion about those who hold office presently. Mr. President did say that yes, if you disagree with the style of administration or level of performance of a particular political actor, that the best thing to do is to wait till time of the renewal of his mandate and exercise your civic rights to express your views about the particular political actors rather than speak ill of or curse Nigeria. That to me is a very profound statement, and it is in accord with the reasonings of our leaders in the past. I do remember that in 1975, when Joe Gaba, the then, I think it was a military colonel, when the government of Gowon was toppled. I remember Joe Gaba then, who made the announcement, said, we have no other country but Nigeria. At a particular time before then, Major Nzogu and his group came up to speak for the Nigeria as the only place that is our own. At another time, when Babangida and co took over, the mantra was to salvage the Nigerian state. I do remember that even at the time of President Omosola, there was this young artist who regarded Nigeria, who said Nigeria Jaga Jaga or something. I can't remember his name.
Idris Abdul Karim, yes.
Abdul Karim, who said Nigeria Jaga Jaga. And Obasanjo was very cross with him. I said, look, don't refer to Nigeria as Jaga Jaga. If I am Mr. President, if I do something you do not like, yes, you can say anything about me and my administration.
So, Barrister Abishani, you're saying that the president's message to Nigerians is a rallying point, not just for not just for our situation, but to bring out some thoughts from Nigerians to see that, hey, we can make this country better if we unite.
Yes, the president's message sank well with me, and I think it is recommendable to Nigeria.
So, if you align with the president's message for Easter, what about the message of the frontline presidential candidate for the Labour Party last year, who was also on a visit? Who went on a visit to a prison, and he told prisoners there, during this Easter, not to worry about the thing because we are all, in quote, prisoners in this country. Is that so?
Yes, that was a philosophical and figurative statement. By saying we are all prisoners, you can interpret it in several ways. It does not detract from the point that he too wishes Nigeria well. When he says we are all prisoners, for instance, you are in a country where you probably now cannot move freely on the road, irrespective of whatever security you may claim to have, without you being afraid of being kidnapped for ransom. You are in a country where Nigerians, that even men in uniform are no longer safe. In a particular community, about 16 soldiers, including high-ranking officers, were mocked down. In some cases, you cannot explain how almost or about 300 to 400 students in a school will be packed in one swell swoop. I've always wondered how that is possible to pack 300 human beings. I don't know whether they were packed by train or they were packed by trailer loads.
You understand that they were abducted. Simple. They were abducted. Yes. That's all.
No, when you talk of abduction, you could have abducted 1 or 2 or 3 people and run away with them.
But to pack over 200, that's a lump sum. Now, my point is, Barrister Abishani. Okay.
I'm coming. So, if a man now comes and says, oh, you that are in prison confinement in a correctional institution, and those of us who are outside and cannot move and confined, that we are all prisoners. It's only that one prisoner has less space to operate, while the other prisoner is confined within a larger space. You are a prisoner even of conscience. You are a prisoner even of mind. You are a prisoner even of courage. When you are in a situation where you rather will not be able to say your mind, you are imprisoned in your heart. So when a man says we are all prisoners, it was pejoratively referring to a state of lack of freedom. If you are unable to have more than 1 meal per day, when it is your desire to have 3, then you are a prisoner. You're a prisoner. Being in prison or being a prisoner is a state of helplessness. A state where you cannot.
We understand that a lot has happened. We understand that a lot has happened in the past. You've aligned on one hand with the statement of Mr. President, and you are also in agreement with, the figurative statement of Peter Obi regarding the state of the nation. Where do we find a common ground? Because a whole lot has happened in the past, and a whole lot more is happening in the present. Where do we find a common ground? Where is that place for the presidency to come in and set Nigerians free, if at all?
There's only one common ground, fortune. The only common ground is that a state like Nigeria or any state for that matter, the underlying philosophy about the existence of a state is the social contract by which all inhabitants of the state are presumed to be in a social contract with the Leviathan, with the state, to surrender their individual right to defend themselves into a sovereign who now collectively uses the power of all to defend all. When the state gets to a situation when the state can no longer guarantee safety of life and property, that state is said to have failed, because the primary duty of every state is guarantee of safety of life and property.
Are you saying that President Bola Tinubu is overseeing a failed state?
No. Let me learn. The problem of insecurity like we have today was not caused by President Tinubu. It's a cumulative effect of what has been happening, and particularly the most terrible of it was when Boko Haram started at about 2013, and the Nigerian states, particularly those who feel that they were using Boko Haram for one political reason or the other, were not cooperating with the Jonathan government then to nip it in the bud. And it is snowballed into having a life of its own that the Nigerian state had to contend with. And then, in addition to that, while that was happening in the northeastern tip of the country, where we could immediately have contained it, then the problem of armed herdsmen started. Initially, where people were saying that these herdsmen are themselves terrorists. We were told not to call them terrorists. We were told not to stigmatize them. We were told not to ethnicize the situation and to just see it as a mere farmer headers crisis. It graduated from farmer headers crisis to banditry. They now call them bandits. Bandits that were so powerful enough to be able to shoot down military headquarters. Bandits that were strong enough to create enclaves for themselves. In Niger State, for instance, you have about 6 local governments where the state cannot, where these bandits have their flags hoisted. They graduated from there to become terrorists and entered the Nigerian Defense Academy. I don't know if you still remember. Entered the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna, shot their way through, and took away military officers of the Nigerian Army. Nigerian Army that was the police of the West Africa.
Where exactly are you going with this, Barrister Abisheni?
Where I'm going now is that we are in a situation in our country now where the first thing to tackle is the issue of security. When you tackle the issue of security, then you will have taken care of the economy. The economy is nosediving today because farmers can no longer go to the farm.
Are you subtly? It also means, if I'm to put it that way, you are subtly telling Mr. President to do something urgently about security instead of focusing too much on the economy.
No, fortune. All are interwoven. Like the Yoruba says, when a tree falls on another, you first take off the one on top.
Before you can go down to take the one underneath, yeah.
There is no headway without the people having a sense of security. The farmers can go to the farm and produce food for us. And the Yoruba man says, if you remove food from the concern of man. Man is virtually at peace. Well, beyond back you say you
Yes.
even food from the concerns of man. Man is relatively at peace. So the issue of security, in practical sense, we have always said that the internal security of Nigeria is what is of concern to us. Nigeria today does not have external aggression. Nigeria today cannot maintain peace within its territorial integrity. Our territorial integrity externally is not challenged. Nigeria is challenged internally. So much that soldiers are drafted.
Hello, Barrister Abisheni, are you there? Hello? Hello, Barrister Abisheni. Hello? Anyways, we've been speaking with Barrister Shola Abisheni, one of the governorship aspirants for the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State ahead of the elections later this year. He's been drafting in his thoughts about what the Nigerian state should be. I mean, the kind of work that should come in, how to harmonize ideas, thoughts, and he was speaking about security. That the important thing at this time is for the government to work on the internal security. When people are secured internally, then other things are likely to work out. We'll just take a short break. When we return, we'll continue with Barrister Shola Abisheni as he continues to put his thoughts across to some of the things we are talking about this morning, especially on the lessons of Easter for our country, if genuinely our leaders are concerned. Stay with us.
The Light Event Center àti The Light Guest House gbọ̀ngàn ayẹyẹ pẹ̀lú ilé ìgbafẹ́ tó dùn wò tó fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀ fún ayẹyẹ yìí tó ń bọ̀ lọ́nà níbi ayé tó tẹ́jú lábẹ́ ọyẹ́ tó ń kú rírì. Pẹ̀lú The Light Guest House àwọn yàrá tẹ́ ó ti máa wo ohun tó ń lọ lágbàáyé ètò ààbò tó péye tó wà níbẹ̀. Home away from home ni.
Òótọ́ ni gbẹ̀gà ayẹyẹ pọ̀ ń bàdàn pẹ̀lú ilé ìtura. Àmọ́ ọ̀kànlélẹ́yìn ló wáyà mi. The Light Event Center pẹ̀lú The Light Guest House. Gbẹ̀gà ayẹyẹ tó gba òbítíbitì èèyàn lẹ́ẹ̀kan ṣoṣo. Pẹ̀lú àwọn amáyédẹrùn, digital screen, dressing room, pẹ̀lú ọyẹ́ tó ń kúrìrì. Ṣé ti The Light Guest House wà ní ká sọ? Níbi tẹ́ ó ti láǹfààní àti mọ bó ṣe ń lọ káàkiri àgbáyé nínú yàrá kọ̀ọ̀kan. Pẹ̀lú free wifi, ààbò tó péye ń bẹ lórí ẹ̀mí àti dúkìá yín. Ní The Light Event Center àti The Light Guest House. Adamimogo House, Shobande Street, ọ̀rẹ́ méjì Mọ́kọ́lá Ìbàdàn. Ló kalẹ̀ sí The Light Event Center pẹ̀lú The Light Guest House. Wow.
Home away from home ni.
Welcome back from that short break. You're still on to Inside Scoop on Adamimogo 105.1 FM. Don't forget we're live on Facebook. If you like to view what we're doing here, of course, you can listen online, www.adamimogo105.1.com, right there on our website, on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, TikTok, on terrestrial media if you are not with your radio set. So feel free to join us every now and then, either on Inside Scoop on all our other programs. I'm still speaking with one of the governorship aspirant of the PDP in Ondo State, Barrister Shola Abisheni, sharing his thoughts with us about the lessons we must all learn from Esther to percolate our socio-economic and political life as a country. Barrister Abisheni, you're trying to land on a security point there.
On the issue of security.
Yes.
I was concluding that the Nigerian police is overburdened. The Nigerian police is no longer proactive in times of security of life and property. The Nigerian Nigerian police now is stays in the barracks or in the station for you to come and report incidents of security to them, for them now to investigate and probably charge someone to court. That is not what it ought to be. That's why we are saying that by number today, Nigeria is supposed to have 400,000 policemen, policing over 200 million people. That's not how it ought to be. And that is why we are advocating in a federation that the states ought to have their police system. Nigeria cannot do without state police, because that is the logic of federalism, that the constituent states in a federation.
So in other words, state police is the answer to our internal problems, security-wise.
It's a major answer. Because when you look at this, if you look at it at the Southwest, the Amotekun has done wonders in the Southwest states. Even when the Nigerian government has not allowed the Amotekun security outfit to bear arms, that in terms of sophistication and firepower.
Anyway, 16 state governors are already, submitted their report concerning that, and some others are still, haven't, submitted theirs. And one of them, the governor of Oyo State, is saying that the processes to achieving that has not been sorted, and it looks like a complete waste of time. I don't know if you share his thoughts on that as well.
The first to achieving what?
The processes to achieving state police, it's not been properly defined, and I want to know if there are loopholes in the setting up of a state police. How is it going to work?
It's a constitutional issue. The constitution has to be amended, because whatever the state has done, the states have done with Amotekun today, is to find a way around. Create is an elevation of neighborhood watch. That's what Amotekun is. And yet, they're doing wonders. It has to be constitutionally defined so that the issue of security and police...
And when do you think that is going to ever happen?
It is in the court of Mr. President today that the constitution be amended, that policing and security be made a matter in the concurrent legislative list, so that both the National Assembly and the states can create their own police within defined parameters. Nigeria is not the only federation in the world. Go to the America, you have the FBI.
So this is for Mr. President to decide. This is left for him to decide if he has the political will to, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm asking. The issue of this matter on ground is now for Mr. President to decide.
It's no longer a matter of political will. It's a matter of proportion. Nigeria cannot move ahead. Nigeria today cannot move ahead with a single command police structure from the federal government. I ask you, Fortune, if your brother were to be a policeman and he's now transferred to Borno State to go and face Boko Haram, if you have opportunity of somebody to change his posture, won't you change it? You will change it. The reason you will change it is that
his life is not a safe haven for him. Yes,
no,
I understand.
Not just that it's not a safe haven. The chief is simply that those who are fighting themselves in Borno, the Boko Haram and the people who are there, are ordinary Kanuri speaking ethnic nationality. They are not from Chad. They are not from Libya. They are Nigerians there. And you want to take a Yoruba man to that place.
Anyways, let me draw you back.
Understand their language.
I think I hear you. You've made your point on the state police.
Security, security is about intelligence gathering. You cannot gather intelligence in a place where you do not even understand their language and culture.
So you have to make this issue of security very local. You have to communalize it so that people...
Security is local.
Is local.
Very
well done. Now let us use that to X-ray, the thoughts of Catholic Bishop of Sokoto State, Matthew Kuka, who said majority of our leaders in the last 5-6 decades have been acting like drunks, barely able to find their way around. They have been acting like drunks. That is like drunks. People, yes, like drunks. People high on alcohol. That they have been fumbling their way around, and it looks like they can't really get hold of anything or do something tangible
I don't,
to find a way forward.
Unfortunately, this time, I don't share Bishop Kuka's view. Why I do not share his view, with all respect to him, is that in most cases, you see, we do not criticize for the sake of criticizing. You must, because that's too wide a statement. They are acting like drums. That's too wide a statement. Your statement must be attached, must be attached to something. We are saying that the problem of Nigeria is systemic. It's a problem of system. Nigeria cannot claim to be a federal state and be operating as a unitary state. Nigeria is a state of entrenched ethnic nationalities, and where federating units are defined either in terms of their states or regions or departments or whatever you call them.
If I'm to infer into what Bishop Kukas is saying, is that a lot of our leaders have not been able to, find a solution to most of our problems, security-wise, electricity, and all of that. And you're saying that we have a systemic problem, something that has to do with changing our constitution. It's not going to be a one-day thing.
Listen to me, sir. Listen to me, sir. Listen to me. The British, while leaving us, gave us a negotiated country. Nigeria was negotiated. If in 1951, 52, up to 56, when we adopted federation, if any of the Nigerian leaders never wanted to be part of the Nigerian Federation, Nigeria would not have been. At least, if you remember Nigerian history, by plebiscite, northeastern Nigeria up to the southeast pulled out and became part of Cameroon today. Did you not know? Cameroon, western Cameroon used to be part of Nigeria.
Yes.
That is why Cameroon today is a bilingual country. But in 1963, a plebiscite was organized for them to decide where they want to be. They said they will be part of Cameroon. If you remember, the first political party in Nigeria, NCNC, was Nigerian National Council of Nigerian and Cameroon. It was when that area pulled out that it now became National Council of Nigerian Citizens. So if at that stage, any of the Nigerian regions did not want to be part of the Nigerian, so they would have been. But a negotiation, either at Lancaster House in London, without IBADAN conference, and several conferences in Lagos, until Nigeria agreed, we are a federation. And a federal constitution was given to us 1960 and 19.
Is this federalism working? Oh, so sorry. The network there. I'm sure that there's a lot Barrister Ibisheni wants to pull out of the books this morning as we look at our national life and how to address it. Don't forget the number to call is 070 47815 or 070 47816. Those are the studio lines if you like to share a comment or a thought or like to be part of the program. Inside Scoop this morning, we've been talking to Barrister Shola Ebisheni, PDP governorship aspirant in Ondo State, and it's been happening on state police as a major solution to our internal security problems. Of course, all of that weaved onto the lessons of Easter, what our different leaders are saying. You already know the take of Mr. President on Easter, his message to Nigerians on this day. And of course, those on the far left, the main opposition, what their message is, religious leaders, governors, senators, central to all of that is unity. Nigerians should be united. But of course, Nigerians would ask, for how long am I going to be a patriotic citizen? Am I going to give in everything as a citizen if I'm not getting anything in return? Barrister Shola Ebisheni, sorry, the network is kind of harsh, but I think we'll just make do with what we can this morning. Hello, are you there? Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes, Chief Abishini, please go ahead. You were talking. Yes.
So what we are saying in a nutshell is that you see the with all respect to Bishop Kuka was dealing with individuals. I do not want to be blasphemous. One of our leaders just one time said, if you bring one of the most revered religious leaders in the world to come and govern Nigeria the way it is,
they will fail.
You will probably not find it. Okay, let's put it like this. If you bring an angel in heaven to come and govern Nigeria the way it is.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes. If you bring an angel in heaven,
he would probably not make any headway with the country.
He will not find his way through. If you bring Bishop Kuka today to be president of Nigeria, he will not find his way through.
So what could be the primary problem? Why we can't find our way through?
System, structure. Nigeria has to be restructured to be a.
So you're suggesting that we have a sit down. Remember, we've had a couple of sit downs, and some of the resolutions are gathering dust wherever they are as we speak.
Fortune. I was a delegate of the federal government to the 2014 National Conference. I represented former local government chairman as a delegate, as a nominee and delegate of the federal government for that conference. That conference made about 600 resolutions on the way forward for Nigeria in 2014. By 2018, the government, the party that took over, the APC, organized a federalism committee headed by El Rufai, then governor of Kaduna State. The resolution of 2014 and the one at the El Rufai committee brother, to all intents and purposes, are carbon copies. Until today, no one has ever been able to bring up a better idea than
we're on the same page on this, Barrister Shola Ibisheni, that we've had a couple of sit-downs, and you mentioned the confab of 2014, and I said
we already have the ultimate.
So it looks like we're just wasting money gathering reviews rather than treating the problems.
Fortunately, we are not wasting money. Nigeria is not a nuclear family of yourself, your wife, and children. We are not wasting time. We have to see Nigeria is diverse. Nigeria is vast in territory, is vast in culture.
So the resolutions you made back then, when is it going to come into fruition? When is it going to materialize such that we can start, gaining something from it as a country?
You see, the 2014 National Conference did not say anything new that you and I do not know. The summary of it is that Nigeria is a negotiated nation, and the end of that negotiation is that we are a federation. Look, I'd like to go back in history. In 1966, July 1966, when Aguiyi Ironsi took over power in January 1966, after the failed Nzogu's the coup, the first decree he made was the Unification Decree number 1 of 1966 that abolished federalism. Are you with me?
Yes.
Abolish federalism. The London saw the revenge coup. One of the reasons that they gave was that Aguiyi Ironsi abolished federalism. And that again snowballed into the Nigerian Civil War, which ended in 1970. What we are saying, therefore, is that Nigeria has come to terms with the fact that we can only be better governed as a federal state. So all of these over-concentration of everything, the economy is concentrated. Are you not surprised, Fortune, that Awolowo was premier between 1951 and 1959, 8 years? See, today we still refer to what Awolowo did for those 8 years. We still refer to what Ahmadu Bello and Co did.
So are you suggesting that we need a kind of a messiah, someone larger than life to get us out of this turmoil?
No, our brains are not less than the brains of our fathers. Our brains are not less than the brains of our fathers. Our own misfortune is that we are operating in a different environment that is not in consonance with the tenets of leadership, the tenets of rulership, the tenets of governance, which we already adopted. Awolowo, Azikiwe and Co. operated within a conducive atmosphere.
In other words, you're talking about sincerity now. Sincerity. If we approach things correctly.
Sincerity. It has nothing to do with morality. It has nothing to do. I have told you, if you bring back Awolowo now to this system that we have,
It will not function.
It will have problems. It will have problems because at that time, he had the freedom to operate his own economy. So much that the federal government was said to be.
So in simple terms, because I'm hearing a lot from you, Barrister Ibisheni, and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. In simple terms, what do we do with this federal structure that we're operating as a country?
Restructure it to reenact the foundational covenant of true federalism. The foundational covenant of Nigeria is that we be a federal state. Are we, in your own view today, are we a federal state? Are we a federal state where the governors are
not to divide it or make it a regional system, right?
No. Regionalism is only in name. What you do with regions, you can do with states. It's a question of nomenclature.
But you are saying that it's a complex system. So how do we make it work as a federal structure if it's so much of a complex system in a federalism?
No. I'm not saying the system is complex. I'm saying that the composition of Nigeria is complex in terms of ethnicity.
And which also means that the system is complex. I mean, it's just a matter of semantics here.
No. One is fundamental.
Okay.
The other, I'm coming. The other is situational. The fundamental one is that Nigeria is a polyglot society in terms of language. Nigeria is a multicultural or multi-ethnic,
heterogeneous, if you like.
A heterogeneous society. So there is nothing you can do about that one. What you can therefore do is that this fundamental thing you find yourself that you cannot do about again, study it and find.
What time do we have? And I'm glad that you are trying to position this, but what time do we have? We mentioned 2014. We're in 2024. What time do we have to make this restructuring work?
I think you're only asking for. You are repeating the same question, unfortunately. I'm saying that we are not reinventing Nigeria. We already have documents which you can put before the National Assembly today, and they will reenact it into a new constitution.
Who has that responsibility? Who has the responsibility to do that?
Well, talking to you as a lawyer, the responsibility first starts from the National Assembly. Then concurrence of 24 states, that's 2/3 of the states of the Federation. It is enacted. It becomes we, the people of Nigeria. Because the constitution you have today is not we, the people of Nigeria. It's constitution of Absalom Abubakar, military head of state. The constitution we want is the one we sat down. What the compact did was a proposal, because the compact itself was not elected. We were not elected. So that proposal by the unelected assembly is now presented. It happened, my brother.
So in other words, before I let you go, I think you have made some fundamental points here. In other words, now that you've suggested that we can't do anything until we restructure, it means that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must put aside whatever template he has on ground and focus on this restructuring. Is that so?
No, Patrick. one does not have to stop for the other. For instance, the president is doing something, and it is good now, something about the exchange rate of the naira to the dollar is coming down. We praise him for that. Now, maybe concurrently, that may invariably affect the cost of fuel. Maybe that would, affect the cost of goods and services. Because one problem with Nigeria is that when price goes up, it does not ever come down. I don't know where that.
Barrister Ebisheni, which should President Bola Ahmed prioritize? Is it restructuring? He cannot do both, and we know that. It's going to be so much on him. Which should he prioritize? Should he focus on his templates, or he should go ahead and restructure? Maybe that would help solve the existing problems.
Sir, you see, when you look at the issue of system, it's interwoven. Nigeria doesn't have to stop and restructure to be achieved.
But we can take one step and then the other. Is that not more productive?
But the most fundamental today is restructuring.
So, in other words, that should be the priority of Mr. President, right?
This is when you see. I remember Secretary. It was Kwame Nkrumah in the 60s. When the British was asking him to choose between handing over an economically strong Ghana to Kwame Nkrumah or political independence, and Kwame Nkrumah was quick to say, "Seek ye first the political kingdom. Every other thing can be added onto it." It happened in India in 1953. India too is a multi-ethnic community like Nigeria, and we have the same what's it called? We have the same colonial master, the British. Now, India got its own independence in 1947. India was in a state of rowdiness. But in 1953, Jawaharlal Nehru, Prime Minister of India.
Jawaharlal Nehru, yes.
Jawaharlal Nehru set up a committee like that 2014 National Conference to go and report to him. And the report came in 1953. They submitted into Parliament and said the best way to govern India is to create states along linguistic lines. And that was done, and India has been what it is today.
Because of that, we are almost out of time, Chief Shola Ebisheni. Okay, just sum up the thought there. Yeah.
In 1990, small Republic of Tunisia was having problems. They set up a sovereign national conference under Mati Kerekou. And the sovereign national conference came with ideas on the best way to govern Republic of Benin. They have not really up to today. That's called the coup, the Southern coup, and they've been able to find their peace. We are recommending the same that the 2014 National Conference
should be looked into.
Put it together with the Rufai Committee, submit it to the National Assembly. Let the National Assembly do several modifications and get for us a brown
new constitution. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barrister Shola Ebisheni. I'm sure if we keep at this, we can use as many hours as possible on this Easter Monday. Thank you so much for being my guest on the program. A very interesting session with Barrister Shola Ebisheni, one of the governorship aspirants of the PDP for the coming governorship election in Ondo State, sharing his thoughts on what we should do as a country if we are serious about our nationality. And he said we are going nowhere until we restructure this country. Get us a brand new constitution. Look at the import of what we had in 2014, possibly merge with whatever is existing, and then let's get ourselves forward as a country. Thank you so much for those on Facebook. Alamin Adioye Olasinde Abib, Kama Dukbe, Sulaiman Sharif, Oladuni Kenny, Alaja Desco. Thank you for sending your messages there. I guess we'll do this again next Monday. Of course, if we have the time, we'll open the phone line for you to be a part of the conversation on Inside Scoop right here on Adamimogo 105.1 FM. Thank you for spending time with us. Keep that down locked, and let's keep it going on this Easter Monday. Remember, we must, as a country, as countrymen, you and I, be sincere in our little spaces, and then that would have an overblowing effect on every other thing. Thank you so much again. Good morning.
Adamimogo FM, where urban vibes meet cutting edge news and entertainment. I say nobody contest you. We're not just a radio station, we're your daily dose of cool. Stay locked for the trendiest beats. I got plenty for my mind, but right now I live the life that I love. The juiciest news and the coolest vibes. 247 Adamimogo 105.1 FM. The voice of the light. Adamimogo. Oyato. Oyimama.
Ìpàdé máa ń jẹ̀mú ọlọ́dọọdún yẹn tún ti kò. Ẹ sọ́dà. Àyájọ́ máa ń jẹ̀mú ti 2024.
Oníbùjíkò máa gbáre ní Jesus City. Ọlọ́run Sàmúlú àlọ́ máa jẹ́wọ́ ti tóbi rẹ̀.
Àwọn ọlọ́run lẹ́nu wòlíì. Bàbá Babájídé sí wòlíì Sàmúlú àlọ́ bàbá Adamimogo. Tó mú kí wọ́n rìn sẹ̀ láti lè ṣàdérí o. Máa jẹ̀mú ìdè dídé ní sà. Láti ìgbà yẹn gbogbo ẹni bá ní bàbá di ọlọ́run láyé wòlíì Sàmúlú àlọ́. Ayé wọn kì í tún wà bákan náà. Àkórí Exodus 2024. No more limitation. Látọjọ́